Hello, my friends. Welcome to the movement with Dan Unitas. I don't know. I don't normally do like political type stuff on this channel, but it's kind of just a video popped up. I figured I'd just like do a quick react to it and see what's going on. So, the title is North Korea sentences U.S. student to 15 years of hard labor. So I'm getting just I'm an impression that a United States citizen was arrested in North Korea and is now being sent to 15 years of hard labor, which in North Korea I would think is a very serious thing with the cold and the lack of food and the treatment of prisoners within that country. So let's see what's going on here.
This morning, 21-year-old Otto Warmbier is behind bars in North Korea, sentenced to 15 years in a North Korean prison with hard labor. A visibly shaken Warmbier paraded before cameras, speaking at his trial Wednesday, which only lasted 1 hour.
I was used and manipulated. Please, act to save me. Please save my life.
Warmbier was found.
Wow. That's very. It's only like such a short. I want to go back and watch that. That was like really. I think for me, it was like seeing all the men and women in the crowd and like them having like, no reaction. I think anytime somebody's dealt with court, I got a divorce and I dealt with being in the court, and you realize like it's very dehumanizing, and it feels like, oh, I thought, you growing up as a kid, you're learning about the government, and you always think about bad guys being sent to jail and the good guy. It's very clear who's in. They show you the 12 Angry Men movie, which kind of shows you that there's a lot of subjectivity to our justice system, but I don't know. In general, you grow up with this idealization of like the government that courts are going to be this bastions of justice, and then you get into a court situation, and you realize, oh man, like the reality doesn't seem like it's, and common sense isn't necessarily a given here. And there's a whole system that you're just getting fed through, and the laws are set up, and you're at the mercy of whatever the laws are, and the laws might not be very good. Or work in your favor, or it might feel like you're getting screwed, and so that's a very, very unsettling feeling. And so that's like, I'm talking about like a divorce court, child custody type stuff, and this guy's like facing like a kangaroo court with 15 years, and man, he is like shaken up for sure. But I really was fascinating was looking at this shot of all of these men and women with no expression on their face. And I know that I get the impression that like North Korea is very has a lot of it's a very you have to watch what you have to watch the vibe you're giving off and the things that you're saying coming out of your mouth. You certainly wouldn't want to come across as in any way critical of the government. So maybe these people are just kind of just like, or this is normal for them. I don't know, but I wanted to watch this again.
I was used and manipulated. Please, act to save me.
Oh, it's not coming through. All right, we're back. Here we go.
Which only lasted 1 hour.
I was used and manipulated. Please, act to save me. Please save my life.
Warmbier was found guilty of what the government calls subversion, part of the U.S. hostile policy towards North Korea. In court, they showed this video, accusing Warmbier of trying to steal a political banner from an area off limits to foreigners at the hotel where he was staying with a tour group. 2 weeks ago, Warmbier tearfully spoke at a government-arranged press conference.
I have made the worst mistake of my life.
His family enlisting the help of former Governor Bill Richardson, the veteran diplomat, meeting face-to-face with North Korean diplomats Tuesday.
He did a college prank, a mistake, but 15 years to be sentenced, that's crazy. Hopefully now after the sentencing, it'll mean negotiations can start on his release on humanitarian grounds.
Now, those kinds of negotiations have worked in the past. About a dozen American tourists have been arrested there since 2009, all of them eventually released. Hopefully, that will happen again soon.
It's very interesting. I think that he was giving like a very like I don't want to I don't want to like parody what he's doing and give an impression that I'm mocking him. But he was very emphatically like tearful and this very humbled, like as if he was being, if he was just being beaten and he was trying to resist and say no more, please don't beat me anymore. I made a horrible mistake. He's tearful and he's sobbing, and is for me, I was thinking about that, and honestly, I would say, like, as a man in that situation, how I would want to present myself, or how I would hope I would present myself, would be I would be stoic, and I would be able to be strong enough to accept the consequences of the decision being handed to me. I would obviously not agree with it, and I would not say, okay, I stole a poster, so this is fair. I wouldn't. That's not what I'm saying, but I would understand I am basically being used as some sort of I'm being used as a political tool here to make a statement, and I'm really in it bad. But I'm not gonna kind of give this very over the top pleading, because I feel like who he's pleading to is really like, it's not going to work. It's not like, oh, like, please save my life and all this kind of stuff. I don't think that's really going to do anything for the people in that room. Maybe for the audience in America. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. He was pleading for people to intervene in save his life. And yeah, working in 15 years in hard labor might be a death sentence to him, actually. Anyways, the point I was going to try to make actually was, I think that he might have been coached by somebody to say, hey, you need to sell this. You need to really sell that you made a big mistake and that you offended the great leader and that you are just an absolute, like, you need to come across as extremely desperate, and you need to come across as servile and like a peasant that's begging for their life, like begging, and I'm not trying to be insensitive to this young man. And he's got to be overcome with emotion and grief, and I pray for his situation. But I'm just trying to make commentary on the fact that I think somebody, I've seen documentaries in Japanese culture, which is not Korean culture, but I don't want to make a distinction. In Japanese culture, they have a lot. There's like traditional culture of like apologizing for things, and so if your company does something that is considered like not in line with the cultural norm, or like the what would be considered like classy, or that's not the word I'm looking for, but proper, and your company has to issue like an apology to somebody. They actually have like formal apologizers. So you would hire somebody as like a contractor to go to this person's place of business and basically get down on their hands and knees and prostrate themselves in front of the prostrate themselves in front of the person that they're apologizing to, and really really beg and plead for forgiveness. Whereas I think people in the West, like in American culture, like that's not a thing. Like that's kind of like considered like really you would want more, to have more pride and dignity. Like I said, like as a man in that situation, if I was looking at 15 years of hard labor in a Korean camp, I would want to come across. I would not want to be pleading, because I feel like that would be giving some sort of satisfaction and displaying a showing of being broken by this decision that I would deem an injustice to me. So I think by having a stronger internal compass and feeling like this is a crap deal that I'm getting, I would make an appeal to the American people and say, look, I've been in prison for this, and I'm making an appeal. I wouldn't necessarily try to argue the point about my guilt or of what I did and did not do. I wouldn't really touch on that at all, because that's irrelevant, because they're gonna charge you guilty for whatever the hell they feel like they want to charge you guilty for. I wouldn't touch on that at all. I would make an appeal to the American president, and I would say, this is what happened. I would, I'd be very grateful to get get help and aid from my country, and I might throw in that I love my country, and I'm really patriotic or something like that to really sell it. But anyways, I shouldn't be laughing, man. I'm laughing about a clip where this guy's like kind of in a hot spot. So the message with Dan Unitas is all about unity, particularly bringing back the notion of us being patriotic. I want people on the left to be patriotic and love this country. I want people on the right to be patriotic and love this country. And the way that we do that is that we celebrate our freedom in this situation. We're looking at like a, very, something that's very different than the United States of America. We're looking at a country where it's run by people that, you always got to be on the lookout for what you say and what you do. And we kind of have a culture that's reached, scary levels of that here within our country, where if you say the wrong thing, if you you can kind of you can run afoul of the present narrative, and then all of a sudden you're kind of blackballed. And we're playing this game of politics left and right, pretending like the other group doesn't exist or labeling them all as terrible people. And our country doesn't benefit from doing that. Left or right, we're all wrong. That's a good phrase. I'm going to use that. If we're fighting each other, we're in the wrong. So I think we have to be, let's look at a clip like this and say, like, as a country, the United States of America, let's have something to be proud of. And that should be that we have a freedom in this country to express ourselves. And let's really put in some energy to have respect for each other, even when we disagree, and try to find points where we can honor, we can say, hey, it's not productive for us to fight. So let's find things that we can agree on. And let's also be respectful when we don't agree with each other. Let's not throw the F word around. Let's not say that we wish the other group would burn in hell, or I'm going to move countries. If somebody gets elected, let's try to get along more with each other and try to, break down the walls of division. Anyways, of course, I always got into that topic, but my heart goes out to this young man in North Korea. I think he's in a really tough spot, and I feel really bad for him. I mean, some people make mistakes they don't understand. There's this woman in I remember I was in Australia for a time, and this woman, Chappelle Corby, it was a long time ago at this point, but she had basically this is gonna be a whole thing to explain. But basically, they found her with a boogie board in her boogie board bag. She had this big brick of marijuana, and she went into I think it was Jakarta, Indonesia, and so she brought a bunch of marijuana into Indonesia, and they were they don't mess around with drug laws in that country. So they gave her life in prison or something crazy, and she had this really heartbreaking story where her brother had put the boogie board on the customs table, so they thought it was his, and then they went to question him. She jumped in and says, nope, this is mine, and then she's the one that got the hammer kind of pulled down on her. So in Australia, that was a news story for like 6 months, probably even longer than that. Was what was happening with this young woman that was happened to be a attractive woman, was now in this crazy Indonesian prison for the rest of her life because of one mistake that she made. So the world's a nutty place, and I feel if this guy did try to take down a poster and he was caught doing that, I don't feel the punishment fits the crime. So it's an injustice. So anyways, I my heart goes out to that young man, and I'll leave it there. Hey, this is the movement with Dan Unitas. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.